Welcome to Tech to Tech presented by KaiZen, where we will explore common cleaning questions and answers. Let's get started. I would like to introduce KaiZen's own Kelly Finch.
Good morning and hello, guys, and thank you for another Tech to Tech. Today, I wanted to do a case study on tips for navigating the solvent world of today. It's a little bit of a hybrid case study. There's a lot of informative stuff to know about, as well as including a very short case study as well. But it's mainly to answer, the current concerns in the solvent world, and hopefully, give a little bit of helpful and a little bit of light in trying to navigate this confusing time. So, uh, you know, especially right now, you know, with regulations coming down and people being more concerned about the solvent that they use, it's kind of hard right now, choosing the right solvent. That's easier said than done. So, especially in today's world where things are being discontinued and regulated and etc., with today comes new challenges and requirements that we all must follow. It's not necessarily a bad thing per se, but it's just a new challenge that we have to overcome. It's also important to remember that certain applications can only be cleaned in solvent. So, solvent is not technically ever going to go away. So that's why I'm here today is to help you down the path and to help you find a new solvent that fits your needs. We give a little bit of history on solvent. Um, you know, Years ago, most common solvent blends and cleaning compounds were made of CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. As environmental regulations prevented the use of these materials, this gave way to the HFCs and the HFEs, hydrofluorocarbons, hydrofluoroethers. Today, the HFCs and the HFEs are leaving the market due to environmental concerns and forever chemicals. And also, one of the largest HFE manufacturers has also decided to step out of the market. 3M brand solvents were one of the most widely used solvents in the market. But now, due to PFAS and forever chemicals, 3M has decided to exit the market and will no longer be, producing these materials. And so, this is a huge, very important thing. And so, that kind of segues into, solvents of the future. Okay, what solvents are available? What solvents are compliant? Um, and today's newer solvents have been engineered to be more environmentally compliant. Remember that, the solvents that are being reduced from the market have been around for some time, and some of them have been around for over 40 plus years. So, it's just the natural evolution of things. And for better solvents to be brought out to the market, it's just a natural function. So now is the time to reevaluate your solvent so that you can reassure longevity of your process and also consistency well into the future. So with solvent improvements also comes mechanical improvements as well. The newer machines that have been designed are drastically advanced from their predecessors as far as energy consumption, process function, and as well as operator exposure. So to kind of lead into the case study, we had a customer uh, that the opportunity is that they were looking to exit out of their 3M product that they had because they were concerned not about the HFEs in the material, but about the trans in the material. Um, they were they were using old vapor degreasers or older. They were not in the best of shape, but they were still functional. But fortunately, they had seen this and they said they had planned on setting money aside for newer machines of some type to continue solvent cleaning at their facility. When they contacted Kaizen, they wanted to research a solvent that they felt that would have longevity in their process. The interesting part was that they were interested in picking a more compliant solvent because of their EH&S department was concerned about the components in their current solvent. And so therefore, our goal, as always, was to meet or exceed their expectation with a viable solution for their concerns. We presented a number of options to them, such as being able to use their existing machines, as well as presenting what we have seen in the market that is slowly starting to shift, which is the vacuum vapor degreasing process, which greatly reduces the exposure to the operator and is a very sealed process that does well on solvent consumption over time, and also uh, as far as waste production. And so they decided to go with the vacuum vapor degreasing process just due to the convenience and also the extra added bonus of automation. So, as they always say, out with the old, in with the new. So our challenges were, they needed to clean large volumes. They had extensively large volumes of stuff. Um, it had to be cleaned just as good, if not better, than their existing process, like always. And it needed to be timely. They didn't have time to wait around. Um, and lastly, but the most important, it needed to be trans-dichloroethylene free, and it had to be somewhat similar in operation. They didn't want a lot of change. They didn't want a lot of process functions. So the process that was finalized, they preferred to go with the vacuum vapor degreasing solvent, which is our M6386 material. And it has a very low exposure limit to the operator just because of the process of how the machine operates and works. They liked that the parts were clean and dry after they came out of the machine, so no more solvent and trained parts. Um, they liked that the vacuum vapor degreaser had built-in distillation, so it would concentrate the waste from the process. And they especially liked that the solvent that was used, which is our modified alcohol, was HFE, HFC, and CFC and trans free. So it was there were a lot of added bonuses to this. And so what was really unique about this process, well, this changeover, is that their EH&S department was concerned about components in their solvent well before uh, uh, 3M announced their exiting of the market and also kind of the blow up with PFAS and everything else. And so, which solvent is best? We have several uh, different solvents that are compliant currently. Um, that depending on you know your operation preference and your soil solvency, and depending on process size and volume, and also whether or not you want to continue using your older machines or you want to adapt and adopt a newer style machine. And also a solvent that's HFE, HFC, and CFC free. Those are the big three. And also a solvent that has dependable production and supply. This is goes unnoticed a lot, but it's very important as well. You need to have a dependable solvent that's going to be dependable in the future. A lot of times, solvents are made overseas and things of that nature, and you're not necessarily able to guarantee that stuff being made overseas is going to be made overseas in the next 10, 15 years. And so you need dependability of supply. And so, in conclusion, solvent gives the ability to clean parts where water can't go. Uh, Solvents are important. You'll always need solvent in some shape or form. Sometimes it just flat out cleans better than aqueous, just because the area is so small that water physically can't penetrate into that area. So the world is changing in the solvent world, and it's changing very quickly. And key products or mainstays are being discontinued or highly regulated. So nobody wants to play in that realm of struggling to try to find solvent or worrying about what's used today will be okay to be used tomorrow. Today's technology allows for better solvents as well as machines to run the solvent, increasing cleaning efficiency and reducing operator exposure. It's very important that any solvent containing 3M HFE solvent will no longer be available by 2025. Some of them have already become scarce in the market or have greatly increased in price. It's important to research now and to find a better long-term solution before you can no longer acquire the material you're using. It's also important to know that there are many different blends or brands of solvent that use 3M HFEs in their mixture. And so please look at your SDS and see the raw components that are in it because you may be affected and not even know it. So if you're unsure, give us a call and we'll be happy to help you. We'll be happy to look at what's in the ingredients and we'll be happy to help you navigate this confusing time. The good news is that there are solvents that we provide that are compliant and that will work with these existing machines along with new machines. And so even though it's not all clear right now and not all solvents are created equal, we do have answers. And so now we're going to go to frequently asked questions. And so one of the hot buttons are, with the discontinuation of HFE solvents, do you have an HFE free solvent? And that answer is yes. Yes, we have several solvents, depending on application, that are HFE free. In addition, we have some that are HFE, HFC, and CFC free, and trans free. So that's always an added bonus. And so, question number two: do you have a solvent that is 1,2 trans-dichloroethylene free? Yes, we have a trans free solvent as well. Um, we also have solvents that are trans-free that are high purity solvents, especially for, if you have an extreme NVR situation that you need to control. We have solvents for that. And so question number three, do you have a solvent that will meet high purity spec testing? Kind of segues into the prior statement, but yes, uh, we we do. And lastly, you know, um, last question, can you help me choose the right solvent for my application? Absolutely. We actually prefer this. Uh, we love educating the customer. We love showing you guys the situation. We love presenting your options, and we love for you to make that decision so that you're confident and you're also knowledgeable of your solvent. And so, you know, I know that this tech to tech was a little bit more informal, informational than kind of demonstrational. But it as it goes right now, it's kind of we're in a little bit of a um, situation where things are advancing faster um, than than we can control, I guess you would say. And so it's better to know ahead of time than to be caught up in the crossfire, so to speak, and have to make extreme or rapid changes that you didn't plan on making. And and so that kind of finishes up my tech to tech. But remember, if you like what you see, smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. And this has been another Tech to Tech by Kelly Finch. And have a good day.
Thanks, Kelly. And thank you guys for tuning into this Tech to Tech session. If you'd like to discuss this topic further or have any questions not answered in the session, please contact your local Kaizen regional manager or send an email to tech@kaizen.com. We will have someone follow up with you as soon as possible. To download the case study this session was based on, click the link in the description below. Do you want to have exclusive access to future content sent directly to your inbox, or do you know someone who would benefit from these sessions? If the answer is yes, just go to tech2tech.kaizen.com, fill out the subscription form. And if you like this video, be sure to follow us on our social media platform for more expert cleaning content.